fabulous people, welcome to the channel for all the babes who create their own life trends. My name is Anastasia and today's video is for everyone who will be traveling to Greece and visiting Athens. Today we are going to talk about things not to do in Athens. And before we begin, I would be so grateful if you smash that like button right now. And of course, if my vibe and the vibe of this channel resonates with you, please consider subscribing. All right, fabulous people, let's get started. Let's begin with the travel tip number 1. As you guys know, I've been traveling Greek islands for over 5 months. And every single island I visited, I always told you guys, rent a car, rent a car, rent a car. It was my advice to you throughout all the Greek islands. Now, when it comes to Athens, it's a different story. Fabulous people, I strongly recommend to not rent a car in Athens. Just trust me on this one, especially if you're not used to driving in Europe, just don't do it. I would recommend to rely on either a taxi or a public transportation, which is excellent in Athens. Now, fabulous people, when it comes to public transportation in Athens, and in particular metro, I do have a very specific and very useful tip for you. And my correspondent Anastasia is going to take it from here. Fabulous people, something very, very important that you should know if you plan on visiting metro in Greece, please make sure that the ticket that you get, you don't throw it away after you use it, because you will need to use it one more time to leave the metro. So you first use it to get inside the metro, and then after you're done to come out, you have to use it again. So please make sure, don't throw it away, don't lose it, because you won't be able to get out. I mean, I'm kidding, of course you will, but why make your life more complicated? Thank you, Anastasia. All right, fabulous people, my tip number 3, and it has to do with the weather in Athens and Greece in particular. If you decide to travel to Greece in the summer, I strongly recommend to leave all the sites, especially the ones, of course, that are outside, for exploring either during the morning or later in the day. Because fabulous people, trust me, during the day, in the summer time, it is quite brutal in Greece and of course in Athens in particular. And most of the time on the Greek islands, you will be able to go to the beach and maybe escape the heat under the umbrella. But in Athens, if you decide, let's say, to visit Acropolis, there is no escape from the heat. You will be under the direct sun and it will be brutally hot. So I truly recommend, just for your convenience and pleasure, to avoid visiting all the major sites during the day and leave them either for early morning or later in the day, and you will enjoy them so much more. All right, fabulous people. The next tip was actually very surprising to me when I found out, because when I was traveling through the Greek islands, I heard that you should not flush the toilet paper, and it was a little bit somewhat reinforced on some of the islands, but it wasn't anything very, very strict. So I thought that once I'm in Athens, this rule is going to be completely out of the window. But to my surprise, in Athens, it was reinforced more so than on any of the Greek islands. As a matter of fact, I rented 3 apartments in Athens, and in every single apartment, in every single bathroom, there was a huge sign saying, "Do not flush the toilet paper." Every owner of the apartment warned me about it, and then in every single bar, every single restaurant, museum, site, etc., 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 I found huge signs just warning over and over again to not flush the toilet paper. All right, the next tip is for all the ladies. I know those of you who are preparing for Greece and already packing and trying to figure out what should I bring, what should I not bring. By the way, I have tons of videos on that, so make sure to check them out. I'm going to link them, so they're gonna start popping somewhere here. Anyway, fabulous people, what I wanted to tell you is that for Athens, just rest assured that you will not need heels. In Athens, just like in Rome, you will be walking tons. All day, all evening long, you will be walking around exploring. On top of that, you will be going up the steps, down the steps, and up again and down again, and fabulous. You will do your feet and yourself such a favor by not wearing heels. So what I would recommend is to bring a nice pair of sandals or tennis shoes and leave your heels for Mykonos. All right, fabulous people. The next tip, in my opinion, is very important, and I truly hope that you will take it to heart and will listen. When I started to plan my trip to Athens, of course, two things that were on top of my list were the Acropolis of Athens and the Acropolis Museum. That is what I couldn't wait to see, and then the other things were kind of just there. It was, let's see what else I'm going to see while I'm in Athens. Now, as soon as I arrived to Athens, I was told by so many locals to give a chance to the Panathenaic Stadium and the National Garden of Athens. So, of course, I listened, I went there, and let me tell you, those two sites ended up to be my absolute favorite during the entire trip to Athens. I was honestly blown away, and I'm so happy that I listened and I went and I had that experience. So what I truly recommend to you, fabulous people, is of course to go and see the most important and popular sites in Athens. But at the same time, if you're staying in Athens for more than one day, definitely give a chance to other sites, because trust me, they will surprise you in a way that you are not even expecting right now. The next tip is actually very similar to the one that I always share about Rome, and that has to do with the rooftops. As you know, fabulous people, or if you don't know, I'm going to share with you. As soon as the weather becomes nice in Rome and in Athens, pretty much all the locals kind of just go to the top, to the rooftops, and they enjoy the city from there, because you have the most perfect weather, and then of course that accompanied by lunch or dinner and the most spectacular views of the city. So if you're in Athens during a nice season, which you probably most definitely will be, definitely do not skip on the experience of a rooftop. I actually mentioned a couple very nice rooftop places in my video where to eat in Athens, Greece. So if you haven't seen it yet, I'm going to link for you again. It's going to pop somewhere here so you guys can check it out. But one of them, one experience that I think that anyone should have is to have a dinner on the rooftop of the Acropolis Museum. And that experience you can do only during Friday or Saturday, and of course during the summer season. So what I strongly recommend is, at least if you're not going there for dinner, have some drinks there, have lunch, but the views of the Acropolis from the Acropolis Museum, fabulous people, those are very hard to beat. So strongly recommend. Just a quick tip inside the tip. And another one that kind of goes along with all of that is the tipping in Greece. And I know, fabulous people, those of you especially who are coming from the States, for us tipping is a way of life. We do that every single time we go to the restaurant. But here is the thing. In Greece, it is not expected. It is very much appreciated, but it is not expected. And the final tip that I think everyone who is traveling to Greece in 2021 will find useful. I don't know what is going to happen afterwards, fabulous people, but I know that if you are traveling to Greece this year, this is something important. And it has to do with the PCR test. As you guys know, most countries do require a PCR test on your way back. So what that means is, for example, if you are going back to the US, even if you're fully vaccinated, right now you still do need to do a PCR test. And there was a video that I recently made for you fabulous people. If you haven't seen it yet, it's going to pop again somewhere here. But in that video, I'm actually sharing with you a great clinic in Athens where you can go and actually do a PCR test. Now, two tips that I have for you when it comes to going to that clinic is that I strongly recommend to scheduling your appointment with that clinic and not just showing up. Yes, they will still take care of you even if you just show up without an appointment, but you will end up waiting for a very long time. When I went there without an appointment and saw the line, I said, no way. So I went back and I sent an email and I received my appointment, and then in 2 days I actually went there and there were 2, maybe 3 people just ahead of me, and in 10 minutes I was done. So what I strongly recommend, fabulous people, so you don't waste your time in Athens on just standing in line in a brutal heat, just schedule that appointment ahead of time. All right, fabulous people, those were all of my tips of things not to do in Athens. So try not to do them, fabulous people. And of course, no matter what, I know you will have the most amazing, fantastic times in Athens, Greece, because it is truly one of a kind city. And before you go, if you haven't done so, please remember to smash that like button, and if you're new to my channel, to subscribe so we can continue to travel and experience this world together.